Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Athletic Studio podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Kate Oman.
I'm Gordon Jomny Vong.
How's your week been, Gordon?
Yeah, good, Kate. Look, first of all, sorry to the audience. I know we've had probably like a 2-week break. I think last week we planned to film, but I got sick.
Yeah, tell us about that. Food poisoning from sushi, guys.
Yeah, food poisoning. In Melbourne, I think we had a really hot streak of weather.
Yeah, we did. It was boiling. Yep.
40 degrees on a Saturday and a Sunday. And I got Uber Eats with sushi on a Sunday night. And like when it arrived and I took a bite out of it, it felt a bit warm.
Yeah, that's where you went wrong.
That's where I went wrong. So 24
No
hours
good.
later, it hit me and I was gone for a whole
Yep.
week.
That's right. And how did last week look for you because of it?
Yeah, that's actually, good point. It was a complete write-off with training. It was actually meant to be my deload week, the start of week 1 of my program.
Yeah. So you planned it strategically.
I wish. I would have liked to be a little bit more active than that.
Yeah.
I'm just treating like this week as week 1 of my program
Yeah, cool.
as well.
Did you get out for any walks or anything?
No, I was in bed
Really bedridden.
pretty much.
Yeah.
I think it was probably maybe 3,000, 4,000 steps. I couldn't really get anything down with my food as well.
Yeah.
Like I had these stomach cramps were just crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty intense how much food poisoning can affect you. So
I'm not-
feeling good? Back into it?
Yeah, like Sunday when I started to feel a lot better. And it's crazy. I've got the whoop strap and the Oura ring.
Yeah.
And you can see like my heart rate variability get better as I get better as well. Those things are really on point. When you're sick, you can tell when you're sick.
It's pretty impressive to see that feedback, hey?
Oh, 100%.
Goes to show it works.
Really good.
Yeah,
what about
awesome.
you? How's your training going?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be honest with the listeners. My training hasn't been overly on point. I've been super busy creating my side hustles. Yeah, I've definitely been getting my 10 to 12,000 steps a day. I've still been active training my clients, but not necessarily getting as much volume in the gym as I would have hoped to. But as we always speak about, the seasons in life, and it's okay to surrender to it. So I'm leaning into the chaos, and which means, not a lot of training, but still getting at least 3 sessions. So just maintaining at the moment.
Cool. So as I would say to ask clients when I was doing personal training, like when are you going to get back into it?
That's a great question. I've got my workouts planned for the week. So as long as I just show up and tick them off, hopefully this week's going to be better for me.
Yeah.
So yes, I plan to do that very soon.
Yeah, there you go. See, things happen, but as long as you're like, all right, I'm going to get back into it, set yourself a date and then bang, you can get straight into it.
Yeah, I think planning out is really important, just being like realistic with it.
Yeah, so with this episode, guys, so Ken, our community manager, you probably would have maybe spoken to him in your DMs if you've been following us on Instagram. He's been asking you guys, why have you guys been following us on Instagram? Is it about the podcast, nutrition program, nutrition, training? Been getting some good feedback about the podcast as well, Kate, which is good.
Good to know.
But one thing that really stood out for me is there's a lot of questions and struggles with programming. Like, how do you actually train for your goal yourself? You might actually just be doing a home workout, going into the gym. A lot of you guys are plateauing with your progress. So like with this episode, we want to just give you a rundown on what programming looks like for the first 12 weeks for a client that would be training with us, whether it's in person or online.
Yeah.
The overall principles are the same, even though they might be having like increase in muscle goal, reclaiming health and fitness, or if it's body composition and fat loss. So like the exact programs might be like a little bit different, and obviously the exercises, but the overall principles are the same. And it's going to give you a better idea on how you can actually plan your workouts and plan your training as well.
Yeah, cool.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that giving a framework is really important. And I usually like to do this as well in my own training. So going through phases, and it's more attainable for the clients because they see a roadmap, which is really cool. So talk us through the initial phase or what a client could expect to see.
Yeah, so the first phase, we always like to call this the preparation phase. So the preparation phase is just getting your body, your mindset, your gut health right, your energy levels right, so we can continue to progressively train harder like later on. And also when things become a little bit more difficult with your nutrition, to get into the back end of a body transformation, it's going to be a lot easier for yourself or the client to execute as well. So what a preparation phase looks like is each phase should always go for 4 to 6 weeks. Okay.
Yep.
And what we're looking for in phase 1 is you're definitely going to improve your body composition. So waistline measurements are going to come down, body fat percentage is going to come down. You're going to increase your fitness, you're going to increase your energy levels. Weight loss is going to come down if that's your particular goal as well. But it's just giving you structure, because most people, when they start, they got no idea on how to structure their workout, structure their week.
Yeah.
And also they think that they need to be doing more than they need to.
Yeah, absolutely. If people overshoot, they get overexcited.
I would always recommend starting, if you've come from nothing, start with 3 to 4 sessions per week. So that might look like, if you're doing 4 sessions, 2 upper body, 2 lower body, or if it's 3 sessions, maybe 3 full body workouts as well. With your nutrition as well. So we're not going to go too much into what you should be eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you're going to work out your overall calories. And what we like to start clients with is maybe a 10 to 15% deficit from what we think that their estimated baseline calories is.
Yeah, okay.
But also, Kate, as you would probably know, is that when we set them like their 10 to 15% like deficit, it's actually more than what they're eating.
Yeah, in most cases, definitely. Yeah, so this could look like, for instance, say 2,000 is your maintenance, going to 1,800, and for say a particular woman, that could be definitely a lot more than she is eating at the moment in time. But yeah, it's putting trust in that and assessing, and they usually do get results pretty quickly, which is great to see.
100%. Because what you guys need to understand is that when you guys start training, you're going to be obviously utilizing energy, and you need energy to help you with your training performance, but also for your recovery. Otherwise, if you're leaving your nutrition the same and you start exercising, you're just going to get tired and you're going to plateau, and you're wondering why, your body's going in the opposite direction, or your body's not changing as well. Start off with a 10% deficit, and it's probably going to be more than what you're currently eating anyway. Or if you're someone who's been eating a lot more, then yes, like it is going to be a bit of a deficit, but it's not going to be too aggressive either. And you can stick to it for 2 to 3 weeks and then apply that with your training. And then you can start to see the energy production, happen a lot more like efficiently, as well. So you should actually wake up with energy. You should be feeling a lot more energized after your workout too. And also in the first phase of training, in that preparation phase, you're still going to be having social meals and free meals. So you might have 1 to 2 structured social meals or free meals each week.
Yeah. So what kind of, for an example for the listeners, what would that kind of look like?
It could be, I think we've got grilled here. So you might go out with your family and have a grilled burger with chips once a week, or you might even go to a restaurant.
Yeah. Also still providing flexibility within
100%
the client's plans. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because we're more focusing on behaviors more than anything.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. So getting these behaviors correct.
Yep.
And then obviously steps as well. So just setting a baseline of 7,000 steps as a minimum every day. If you're doing more than that, great. Doesn't need to be any extra than that. But just building a healthy kind of routine, and getting back into, also with like exercise selection, Kate, in phase 1, would you be getting someone to squat, deadlift?
Absolutely not. No. So with our clients, we are very specific, with the preparation phase, and we've done it obviously now for years, and I can really tell that it makes such a difference. So for instance, we start with a lot of mobility exercises. Like our favorite one is that front foot elevated split squat. You'll see that on every single program to begin with, because it provides the range of motion, the flexibility, the control, the coordination that we are looking to build up from the start from our clients. So that's why it's really important. You also see things like assisted machine stuff like lat pull downs, and it's all about building their foundation, whether you're someone who's really beginner or have a little bit of gym experience, just to activate the right muscle groups, retract in the right places. So it's such an incredible program, and we've done it, as I said, for years, and it really benefits doing this foundational program to then go into what you said, like a deadlift or a squat in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th phase without injuring yourselves.
Yeah, that's right. Setting your body up correctly, a lot of dumbbell work. So it's not necessary that you need to be barbell squatting or deadlifting straight away. You can get the same, like if you can train hard with a dumbbell squat, which is essentially going to be a lot safer for you as well, and get the right range of motion, then by the time you get into a barbell squat, it's just going to make that a little bit more effective as well. Because everything's a tool in the toolkit, and you don't want to just utilize everything all at once and then, have nothing to play around with later on.
Yeah, for sure. And injury prevention as well is a big one, especially if you're a client coming from doing nothing to then gym training. It's just, you've got to really be smart with the preparation and the start of your training cycle to ensure that you're not doing your back or all those kind of things, because that's just going to put you out. We want our clients in a position where they can do this long term and keep their bodies safe and healthy. Yeah,
and with the last point with the preparation phase, just from a more of a calculated point of view, when you're planning out your exercises throughout the week, if you are training 3 to 4 times per week, you're looking at maybe bare ass minimum 12 to 15 sets per muscle group spread out over the course of the week. And what we call that is training volume. That's your base level of training volume to build hypertrophy, to get the training effects that we want as well. Because if you start training and doing your gym workout or your home workout and you only realize you're doing 10 sets per muscle group, then and you're not seeing results, then there you go. You're not actually training hard enough, or your programming is not good enough to get that amount of sets through the muscle. So you want to be aiming for that 12 to 15 in the beginning phases.
Yeah, for sure. So to put it simply, it's just basically getting enough volume to elicit a response from the muscle group to grow. So to break down and repair, which equals growth.
Second phase. All right. So you've got your preparation phase, and by doing that, you've got some body composition results, fat loss results, fitness results as well. Then phase 2, then we're slowly progressing you to train harder. And there's going to be like your build phase. So if you want your body to look outstanding, you need to grow muscle. Yeah. And obviously to grow muscle, you want to be getting stronger and doing probably more advanced exercises as well. So when it comes to exercise selection, this is where then you might actually include your barbell squat, your deadlift, your barbell bench press, more of those compound movements. But because you've learnt easier movements in phase 1, when you come into phase 2, these more advanced movements should be actually very easy for you to perform. Yeah.
Yeah, you've done like similar mechanics. It's just adding a different load or structure to the load.
And because these exercises are more, let's say they're simpler to execute, you can actually apply probably a lot more load. Like you can make the weights heavier as well. So you can actually train harder. And one thing that we like to do, like in this build phase, to help support your training, and what most people actually won't do, or they're too scared to do or experiment with, is that because you're getting fitter and stronger by now, we would actually increase your food. So instead of being at a 10 to 15% deficit, we might add an extra 200 to 400 calories per day to bring it up to maybe a 5% deficit or a maintenance level, or even like a 5% surplus to support your training performance.
Yeah, 100%. And usually within this phase 2, it's easy to plateau or feel less excited towards nutrition and like going that fat loss. So this is, I find, really good with clients because they can now focus a bit more on performance, and aesthetics come from that focus a little bit more, if that kind of makes sense. So they got less focus on the scale, more focus on performance, which often turns to be better on the scale, if that kind of makes sense in a weird way. Yeah.
Yeah. And we see it so many times is we increase someone's food, their training intensity level obviously goes up as well. Because subconsciously, if someone has a body composition goal, subconsciously, if you give them food, they're going to be like, oh shit, I'm eating more. I'm going to train harder because I don't want to actually get fat.
Yeah. Also, the body is a really incredible thing. Like you'll generally move. So if you're providing your body with enough energy, it will expel. You'll twitch more, or you'll take the stairs because you've got the energy to. The body is a pretty incredible thing, and it'll adapt and probably create more movement for that reason. And so you won't be stacking on, especially if you're doing it in a controlled approach, you won't be stacking on kilos because your training will be better, your sleep will be better, and you'll move more.
And if you increase your food and you're increasing your training intensity and your weight is trending down still, then we'll actually keep encouraging you to increase your food until you find the point where your weight stops coming down. Because you want to be eating as much as possible to, build muscle, which is what's really going to make your body look really good.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely not being in the deficit for too long, and by supplementing with more food will keep and maintain a healthy metabolism. A lot of people get into the trap of being in a deficit for a super long or extended period of time. And that's where it damages, and because you lose the muscle mass, and that's where it gets to a hard sticky point, because if you want to increase, usually that's by a small amount, and you can easily gain body fat quickly. So by doing this, you'll save yourself so much of like a headache later on.
There's just less stress overall on the body from a nutrition perspective. And the main stress is really just coming from training.
Yeah.
And then by that point, right, by the end of phase 2, like you've got your nutrition foundations correct. You've built up your training performance to a level where you can actually train hard and push your body hard as well. Then phase 3 is what I'd like to call, if you want to go down that route, then, and it has to be done anyway if you're looking to get an amazing transformation, it's the shred phase. It's the fat loss phase. And this is where you're just basically putting it all together. And then because you've spent some time increasing your fitness levels, then you've also spent some time to increase your food. So By the end of phase 2, you should actually be eating a lot more than what you did when you started, but also your body should actually still be looking a lot better when it started to. Then we can actually start to bring the food back down again as well. So then you're more focusing on the calories, the nutrition number, and depending on there will be phases where, okay, you might have less free meals as well, just because you are going through that more of a strict weight loss and fat loss phase. And also obviously with your training, you're training a lot harder as well.
Yeah, for sure. If we give an example, for instance, as we spoke to before, we were talking about the 2,000 calories. You may have built through this maintenance phase to maybe 400. For instance, you take it back to 900. That'll put you in a position to lose 500 grams a week if we're in that 500 calorie deficit.
Yeah.
Stay in it for 4 weeks and then get straight back out and you'll have incredible results.
Yeah, the trickiest part in this shred phase is actually all we're really doing is that because you know how to train hard and then you know how to diet properly by now as well, because it's a game of push and pull. So we're able to push you pretty hard. You're able to push yourself pretty hard. It's actually just knowing when to pull back. Yeah. So that 4 weeks of pushing and then pull it back for another week and then go again.
Yeah, exactly. It can be done in phases. As we said before, it's not a long-term thing. It's a thing that if you've got this healthy metabolism, you'll be able to dip in and out of very quickly and get the results that you're after rather than just dieting for 6 months of the year.
And the reason why we bring this up is the common mistake people make is they're going into phase 3 in phase as their phase 1.
Yeah, exactly right. Too hard, too fast without the foundation.
Whereas it's all about minimum dose, maximum effect.
Yeah.
You can get really good results by actually doing less and probably eating more than what's expected.
Yeah.
Just because I'm in the DMs as well, right? So I can actually see, how some of these people are training and how you're training. And I'm like, you can get so much more out of your results just by learning how to train properly and having the correct training program, just doing that.
100%. I think that's why getting guidance is such a powerful tool. And that's the thing. You learn how to do these phases. You can go in and out of them as regularly as you want. You build the confidence that, okay, if I want to look X way, I know I can get there.
So that's how we normally plan out our training phases, guys. So we'll put in, as always, we've always put in an example phase 1, 2, 3 training program on the Instagram accounts. A lot of people have been downloading our ebook as well, which has example training programs on there too. Use that as a guide, and there's so many tips on there too. And also, keep asking questions in the chat and letting us know, because it gives us really good, relevant topics to speak about on the podcast for you.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to bring up?
No, I think you captured that really well, Gordon.
All right, we're back, guys. The podcast is back.
We are back. Make sure you guys like and follow our Instagram, and we'll see you in our next podcast.
See you guys.
If you found this episode useful, it would mean the world to us if you shared, rated, and liked this podcast. It's how we keep it alive.
Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Athletic Studio. We would love to connect with you and see how your fitness and health improves with this newfound knowledge. Until next time.